Hello, YouTube. This is Bash, bringing you the season recap of UPC Season 3. And sadly, we were knocked out of the playoffs, and our season has come to an end. But let's look back on let's look back on this season with so many memories, with these crazy hyper offensive mons, and even the mons we dropped, and the ones we didn't even use. They still put in a role in putting fear into our opponents. So let's go through the teams. The team I had for this season, for UPC Season 3. I'm going to start with the transactions that I dropped for Mons. So, first Mon, Greninja Protean. And people would always think, why would you drop that thing? That thing's a beast. It really was to help out the rest of my team. Because that cost a lot of that took away from my points kind of in a way, because it was the A tier and I grabbed a tier 1 instead of A tier eventually, and dropping Greninja and Sneasel, who I also had, but Sneasel was really just for Ice Shard pressure, because Ice Shard is really good in this league, with all these Uber Mons like this. I feel like Ice Shard was really good. So I did in fact drop Sneasel and Greninja Protean, and I ended up grabbing Superior and Entei, as I did not have a fire type, which Crypto told me that it was perfectly fine not to have a fire type, but I told him that's not true. I really needed a fire type in this league, to just break through those grass types that could be an issue for Coco. So I ended up getting Entei, who was actually a beast this season. But then, as you may know, I ended up dropping Superior even before I had a possibility for allowing it to be used during week 1, but I did not have it. I did not use it, and I dropped it before week 2, for Mamoswine, which is the best Ice Sharder in the game. So I mean, I couldn't really pass it up with Mamoswine. It fit really the team really well, as Coco and Mamoswine just destroy every team. I don't really know a Mon that could switch into that offensive core. Really, honestly, yeah. If you think about it, those two Mons I felt like really work together, so that's why I have Mamoswine. And for the 2 months I actually did bring the games that I dropped, Mrs. Puff, the Quillfish. Sad to see you go, but I couldn't use it this well this season, as this team was built very differently from the team I had last season, as my team last season was just a lot of bulk. Well, this team is just hyper offense, and Quillfish does not function at all in hyper offense. So that's why sadly I do not have Quillfish, and I dropped it, even it being my franchise pick from for the season. So sadly, Mrs. Puff had to go. And next came I dropped also with that transaction the same one. I dropped Delamise for Roserade and Quillfish, of course, for Jellicent. Now, Delamise was a decent mon. I've already used it in the past with EBT. Remnants technically. And it's a good mon. It just, Roserade looks so appealing for my team, and I really wanted Jellicent. Especially with a Kyogre running around in this league, I just couldn't. I just needed a mon that could have the ability Water Absorb, or some way to deal with that Choice Scarf Water Spout, as that destroyed my team last season, and I did not want to deal with that again. So right before before my week with Sketch, who ended up having Kyogre, I decided to make this transactions, better help the team, as I was gonna bring Jellicent and Rosary a lot more than Quillfish and Delamise for the rest of the season. And I think that made my team a lot better. And I got Spikes, NT Spikes still. I got I got a way to block hazards, and I did lose a rapid spinner, but I had like 20 defoggers, so it's perfectly fine. Um, so let's go through my team that I have currently. These stats aren't updated from the playoff matches that I've had, so this is just for regular season. My favorite mon that I use this season, Tapu Koko. 14 kills and 14 deaths. And just during that time, um just during the regular season. For a tier 1, it's absolutely amazing. I honestly, I believe, unless some people put in, uh, unless people actually put in their, yeah, the only other mons that are actually above Tapu Koko in the standings for kills are S tier mons, or soon to become S tier mons. As spoiler alert, Mega Lucario, I believe, is becoming S tier next season. Mega Salamence and Zygarde complete. Only mons above it, and this is not including playoffs. So Koko did get a couple kills in playoffs, so I don't know how to work with that. But honestly, Koko's a beast, and can't really change that. Like for a tier 1, it's so good, and it just I played so well with it this season. I felt like so, and I would. This was the one mon I was considering franchising, and I believe at the end of this video I will talk about the mon I actually am franchising, as I am not actually franchising Koko. As much as I wanted to, I just couldn't fit it on the team I wanted that I'm thinking about next season, and I didn't want to waste such a high pick on it. Next is Kommo-o. Brought to 4 games. Um, got 1 kill and 1 death. It's pretty poor in the Ubers League. It's really difficult to get set up with all these Uber mods. It's so much better in a regular league, tier league, point league, anything except for like an Ubers league. Because Kommo-o, unless you allow it to use Klingorius scales when that becomes broken. But Kommo-o is just so difficult. I love Kommo-o. It's my favorite dragon type or fighting type. I fell in love with it in the Crash League, but it just can't function in the Ubers League. I'm so sorry, Terminator. As much as I wanted you to terminate some of my opponents, it just never really got a chance to. And the best chance it got to was against. Well, I had a chance to do it against Arceus, but the best chance I got was against Coach Oak, and I did not deal with that Scyther. So Kommo-o couldn't sweep the game. So sadly, that's what happened. And unfortunately, Kommo-o did not pull out the work this season. It really did really good at stopping Mega Venusaur, though. I'll tell you that. Having the taunt Stealth Rocks with the what's it called? Um, I think it's Bulletproof. Yeah, Bulletproof. It's so good against Mega Venusaur. It kind of just stopped it in its tracks from being such a pain for my team to deal with against Hobio. So I really enjoyed that. Um, Next, Umbreon. Umbreon fit this team perfectly. It gave me the perfect wall, a perfect pivot, just to take hits, baton pass out, even throw off some wishes sometimes. Kind of, just spread around the wishes, getting those breakers in for free. Umbreon was such a very important part of this team, and it did get 2 kills, which I'm a little surprised about, as I used it mostly just pivot. And it did have 4 deaths, and that is because I kind of sacked it off to let it take hits. You know what I mean? Um, and it put in a lot of work this season, especially against Honor's team, where I felt like Umbreon was the perfect way to deal with a lot of his mons. Um, Although I did basically run the same set almost every single time. Only changing up, the only time I changed it up was for Honor, really, I think, this entire season. I always had the same moveset: Wish, Protect, Foul Play, Baton Pass. Other than the Honor's game where I had Moonlight, um, Baton Pass, Foul Play, and Yawn, so I could prevent Naganadale from sweeping me. So, Umbreon, I love the Umbreon, but I don't know if it's gonna work with the team I'm thinking about making next season. Um, Rosary, for the amount of games you came to, I'm surprised you only got one kill. You've put on so much offensive pressure, and I felt like you deserved more than one kill. Maybe it's just because of like maybe maybe it's just because I didn't have it long enough, but I felt like it deserved more than one kill. Um, Unfortunately, the only time it got killed, I believe, against against Oak, Sketch, and Sketch again in playoffs. um, I felt like Rosary definitely should have gotten more kills though, so that's unfortunate. Kind of wanted it to, but oh well. Jellison didn't really get to use it much this season, sadly. Got 0 kills, got 2 deaths. Just used it really to help with Kyogre, really, realistically. And the Rain team. No much to really say. I didn't really get a chance to really appreciate it and use it to its fullest. So that's unfortunate. Hopefully, I can use if I grab it again. Hopefully, I can have more time to use it and understand how good it is. Cause I know it's a good mon. It's just never got a chance to use it really. Alolan Raichu. Okay, I don't understand why this is a tier 5. It honestly, if you get it with Coke, it's such an easy mon. Like I think it's the best tier 5 mon in this league. That honestly, because Alolan Raichu pulled up so many sweeps or even pressure my opponents. With Coco, Electric Terrain, it's so good. It's really so good. Alolan Raichu with the and like the even the Volt. I had the two Specs Volt switchers, which is absolutely insane. And Alolan Raichu still pulled out like with the sweep. Week one, what's Splurge against Splurge? Coco and Alolan Raichu pulled out a sweep. I thought I was gonna lose that game. 100%. I thought I lost that game. Oh shoot. Okay. Um, Pulled out the sweep. I believe week. Let's see. Didn't bring it week 4. Did I bring week 5? No, I didn't. I brought it to like not even that many games. I brought it to like 3 games, I think. More towards the end though. And although I did lose like twice with it, it's still put in so much work. Um, it still had so much pressure on my opponent so much, and unfortunately, I figured out that it doesn't get Nasty Plot with Surf. It's incompatible as Nasty Plot. Surf, the only way you can get Surf is through Pikachu, and the only way you can get Nasty Plot is through Pichu. So there's no way to get those two together, which is kind of upsetting because I did have that on my stats, and I realized then I realized that it didn't work, so I had to switch it all over to like HP Ice. But Raichu still is such a good mon, and I was really excited to use it. I feel like it's only really viable though with Coco, especially in an Ubers league like this. But it still should probably be moved up, I think, to tier 4. But that's besides the point. Mega Metagross, what a monster! And people don't respect this because of the kills. It's only 11 here and 2 deaths or 3 deaths I meant. But Mega Metagross literally just broke things for my team. I didn't bring it much in the beginning of the season because I didn't feel like I needed to. But then I realized how absolutely amazing. There isn't really a check to this. It destroyed Suicune. It could Oko Kyogre with Thunder if it's in Electric Terrain. It could Oko Kyogre, defensive Kyogre too. Not even regular like offensive Kyogre. It could KO defensive Kyogre. How insane is that? Kyogre is insanely bulky, and Mega Metagross just still destroys that thing. There's not really a good switch into Mega Metagross, and I don't think the league understands that. And I feel bad for that because if I could grab that again next season, that'd be absolutely amazing. But we can't franchise S or A tiers as this thing is moving down to A1, which is very surprising for me. Because Mega Metagross just a monster. I'm so happy to use it this season. It was one of my favorite mons. I use this season as well. Mamoswine. Mamoswine has its roles in the Ubers League, and I feel like it's a lot better in the Ubers League than a regular league. Just because of all the ice shard pressures it has against, well, like we got like Zygarde complete, you got like Mega Salamence, you got Naganadel who gets hurt really badly by ice shard. You got Lando T and Lando I. You got Deoxys that doesn't want to take priority as well. I believe that's really it. I can think of at the moment. Shaman Sky, yeah, Shaman Sky doesn't want to take an Ice Shard either. Magearna doesn't want to take an EQ. Ice Shard Pressure is just so good in this league, though, and like it honestly is, and it's kind of scary that way, and like it destroys Rayquaza as well, and that's really the reason why I kind of grabbed Mamoswine. It does give me another ground type, which is really good for my team, as well. It gives me another way to pressure grass types. Could be annoying for Coco, but Mamoswine is just a monster, and it doesn't really show in the stats. But that's because it just put fear into my opponents. It just put fear. Realistically, it 1v1 to Volcarona. Sorry, little main, for that, but it really did, and man was just a god for that. It also just it puts so much like fear into my opponent, as they cannot set up with those really powerful 4 times weak mons to ice, as Ice Shard just destroys them. And like even with like a Zygarde, I brought my week 2, week 1, week 3, Zygarde complete. I knew he was going to be a subset, so I brought Icicle Spear, which breaks a sub, and then continues to destroy Zygarde afterwards. So, I mean, like, Mamoswine's just a monster in this format, and I'm really happy I was able to use it. I felt like it was really good with Tapu Koko. Hopefully, people could understand that and start drafting this thing. I would grab this, but it's not worth a first round pick for me. So, I would franchise it, but it's not worth a first round pick for me. So, next mon, Silvally, gets 0 kills this season and 4 deaths, but that's not really the story behind it. Hazard removal, momentum, and U-turn and parting shot. Any type you want that can fit your team. It gets so much coverage too. It's insane. It's like a Mew, it's like a Mew slash Arceus without like the stats. You know what I mean? Like it has base 95 overall, which is still pretty good. But it's just here to pivot and stuff like that, and it's so good for allowing big threats to come in, like Tapu Koko, Mega Metagross, Mamoswine, Entei, like all these good like huge threats. Silvally just takes a hit and just parting shots out, gets the attack drop and the special attack drop on their opponent, and just brings the other mon in for free, and it's really good. And even though we tried to bring a setup Silvally, which actually almost worked, if I didn't realize we prepped, thinking that there was not going to be a Keldeo on the other side of the field, but there was. So, but yeah, Silvally is just a monster, and I love that mon, and yeah, really, it's just a monster. Not offensively, but like just for pivoting purposes, and it's really a good utility mon, and it allows my other mons to succeed. And I feel like that's part of the reason why Koko and Mega Metagross has so many kills in Alola Raichu. This is part of the reason. So, we're going to the next mon, Torn. Based off of the standings based off of these stats, as they are not technically correct after because all the playoffs are done, pretty much done except for the championship. But these Torn apparently went 5 for 5, but I don't think it really exactly did that. It broke teams for me. It got defog. It was just a nuisance for a team. It toxic. It regenerated. In crypto, thank you so much for convincing me to pick Torn. This thing is absolutely a monster. I don't think I even missed a Hurricane this entire season. I've hit more Hurricanes than I hit Psycho Boost in UPC, so that's a proud thing to say. Torn just literally destroyed walls. It was really good, and and it was such a good mon to pair with Tapu Koko, as it does get grass on and stuff like that, and it gets the U-turn and Volt Switch core right there, and it pressures out all the grass types that could be annoying for Koko to try to deal with. And it gives us a ground immunity, as it is my only ground immunity, unless you count Silvally, because Silvally can be a flying type. But Torn just overall is so good, and with Ultra Sun and Moon allowing to get defog, it's just made it so much better. Um, honestly, and like it gets taunt, it gets all these crazy moves, it gets foul play, which I had no idea about that until this season. I did not bring it, but that's always a good thing to note. That it gets foul play, it gets knockoff, it gets so many utility moves, and it hits hard with Hurricane. So, and its coverage pool is absolutely insane. Um, love Torn-T, would franchise it, but some things come. I just couldn't really do it. Um, I just couldn't bring myself to do it, as I do really want to use my franchise on a different mod, and I kind of want to have my first round pick with something possibly new. If not, I'll come back to this team, but we'll see. Next mod, Mudsdale. Didn't come much this season, but when it did, it put in the work. I'll tell you. Came out with the sweep against Arceus. Literally, the stamina boosters are so good, and with pairing that with Umbreon with Wish, his support is so good. Um, and the fact that now this thing gets Stealth Rocks just makes it so much better than I thought it usually was. And although teams do consider it tier 4, I don't think it's really a tier 4. I think it's like a tier 3 mon. Honestly, I really do. This thing is so defensively built, and it's really difficult to break through for teams. The only reason I didn't bring it as much is because it doesn't really appreciate special attacks, and the fact that it doesn't get reliable. It doesn't get reliable recovery, which kind of hampers it. But it's still an insane wall, hard to break, and it gets set up with a stamina boost. Every time you attack it, it gets a boost in defense, which is absolutely insane. No mod should ever be able to be allowed to do that. And still, Mudsdale is allowed to do that, and it's still bulky even without those stamina boosts. So, I mean, I don't know what to say about that, man. Um, so my last mon on the team, Entei. 4 kills, 2 deaths, based off of this, and Entei. I had some pretty cool sets with you this season. We had the Flame Charge Assault Vest set. We had the Lychee Berry set that I had. Didn't work out though, because he had EQ on Charizard X, but that's besides the point. We had the Iron Ball set, which allowed Magearna not to be able to Trick Room on us and destroy our lives, as Entei still outsped it in Trick Room with being adamant as well, which is really good with the Iron Ball. So I thought that was really cool. And really, it's a good breaker. It didn't bring as much as I probably should have, but that's because it really had its key matchups, if you know what I mean. I poured out a pretty big amount of kills in against, I believe it was Jimmy with the Entei or Flame Charge set. That was cool. So let's go into the team. I ran HB Grass on that. So let's go through our matches this season, as we do have the stats for them. And we have, for week 1, we played Splurge. Absolutely amazing game. That came down to the wire. It was insane. And so he brought Claydol, Gliscor, Incineroar, Lugia, Alomola, Mega Diancie. I had Coco, Alola Raichu, Mega Metagross, Savali, Mudsdale, and Umbreon. Realized right off the bat I should not have brought Savali Steel, as I do not take Earth Power at all, or Earthquake on my team, and it's really difficult. I built a lot. I was prepped a lot for Lugia. Lugia was a huge set, and I knew that off the bat, as I used it really well last season, and it got a bunch of new moves that could help it set up as well. So, I feel like that it was kind of a crazy game. I thought I was gonna lose that game. I didn't also he made a transaction for Claydol right before the match, and I didn't realize that. And that's apologies to myself because I would not have ran Volt Switch on top of Coco. I would have ran U-turn, but oh well. Um, we were able to beat his team very narrowly with the 1-0, as we were able to get Alolan Raichu and Coco to break through after Claydol went down, and Glasgow went down pretty early. But once we broke through Claydol, his team was pretty much over with, and the only thing was able to take a Raichu hit was Incineroar, but it weakened it down for Coco to sweep it anyway. Um, Metagross, wish I was able to do better with that. That was I'm pretty upset I didn't do well with it. It is partially the fact that I should have brought Savali Water, in my opinion, based off this match. I'm not Savali Steel. Thought Steel would be good with Mega Nancy, but just added another ground type so he could just spam Earth Power. I just didn't have a switch in. Um, so that's that. Week 2, we played Grape. That's supposed to be Killer Cortana's, not the Atlanta Azumarill. But weird things happen this season. Premier, Groudon, Venusaur, Doublade, Lycanroc Day, and Frogadier versus Coco, Mamo, Dhelmise, Quillfish, Tornti, and Entei. Pretty wild game. Um, we were able to. Torn was able to beat the Venusaur. I was prepped really hard for Venusaur because Venusaur is such an annoying mon to deal with in Sun. Um, uh, and Frogadier, I was pretty comfortable with dealing with Frogadier. I kind of understood what it does. It's usually a Scarf Mon or it's T-Spikes. That's really what it is. Don't really see much other than that because of its speed tier and its lack of bulk. So I was prepared for that. I kind of figured that it was Scarf, so I played accordingly. Only got 1 kill against me, so that's pretty good. And Coco put in another week of good work as it pulled out pretty 3 kills for week 1, pulls up 2 kills week 2. So that's really good. And then it comes into this match against Arceus week 3, and Coco pulls out another 3 kills out of the hat. And you're looking at this, and Coco's got 8 kills already. 3 weeks in, 8 kills. That's pretty good. It's averaging like 2.75 or something like that. 8 divided by 3, that's like something like that. Yeah. And then Mudsteel picked up the rest of the kills. With the only deaths being Umbreon and Quillfish because I realized it doesn't fit my team. Umbreon was sacking to Lele to get my Coco in, destroy that thing. Mudsteel just walled his team once Lele, he kind of misplayed it with Lele, but Mudsteel just walled Zygarde Excadrill at the end, and it allowed Lele to get destroyed as well. And even like I was down to like 20% or 10%, and I still lived the EQ from I believe was it Excadrill. So like just the overall bulk and power and stamina of Mudsteel is just showcased right through this week 3 match, and can't really say much other than that. Week 4 played against Zelmaine for the top because we were both the only other teams that are we're the only teams undefeated. The rest of the teams have lost at least 1 game. And Coco didn't even get a kill this game, which is surprising. And Mega Salamence was the only one who got a kill. Torn got a kill against Decidueye, taking out the only thing. It was a really weird beginning as we were just trying to get our footing, making all these like momentum plays, all these stuff. We got stuck in the cycle, and then I decided to break it, get Tornti in, and kill the Decidueye, and pop out my Z move against Mega Salamence, destroy that thing. Although it did take me out, and then we were able to pretty much destroy his team with Mega Metagross. We did get the crit then with against Magearna, but it didn't really matter because he was a Trick Room set, and Entei Oko's Magearna in Trick Room no matter what, pretty much, unless he was like a Oko Berry. So, and Mega Metagross was able to destroy his team. Mamoswine killed Volcarona, but Mega Metagross destroyed everything else. Yeah. And it was able to brick break to stop the Alolan Ninetales from sending up there, which was really good. As the Alolan Ninetales was all of his wins were from at this point before this match. All of his wins were from Veil being set up and one of his mons sweeping, whether it was Magearna, Mega Salamence, or Suicune. That's how he did it. and we were the only team now undefeated. And we come into week 5, and we are playing Jay. So let me say a little thing about Jay. He's a good guy. Grab crazy offense. It was one of the hardest teams I had to prep. It was like one of the hardest matchups I ever had to prep against for the season. I think it is the hardest actually, and because Deoxys Attack and Mega Lucario run through every team. Every team, not, like I don't think there's ever like those two combined destroy every single team. I don't think you ever can make up a scenario where it doesn't. And the access of Deoxys Attack to Z moves absolutely insane. I give props to Jay how he used these two together. Um, realistically, because those two monsters actually put in the work, and the reason was those two monsters I would say are the reasons why I lost that match. And Snorlax, of course, because I did not have a way to beat. I did not prep hard enough for Snorlax. I didn't think it was going to come. He didn't bring it once yet this season. Maybe he changed things up because he realized he was losing. But this is a turning point in the season because I believe this is the first time I lost the season. So it was kind of it gets the pressure off the shoulders, but it was pretty brutal. It was only a 2-0. Honestly, it should have been more. He could have just set up on Snorlax all day, but he decided against it, which I disagree about. It could have been like a 5-0 or 4-0, but oh well. And I do agree with Mega Lucario moving up to S tier because I think it's an absolute monster. And props to Jay for showing us how it did because it did break a record for most kills in a season. Broke the previous record, which was 22, I believe, by Genesect, and now Mega Lucario has 25. Genesect was season 1 with Sketch. Let's go into week 6, and this is when I play Honor. And this is what I'm going to talk about. Honor's team is absolutely terrifying. And the only way if he had an electric immunity, I didn't see a way I could win this game. His team is absolutely insane. It was so difficult to prep for. And he didn't bring any of the Reggies this match, so it allowed Specs Volt Switch just destroy his team as he doesn't have electric immunity. And it allowed me to, he was Scarf Naganadale, which allowed me to be able to revenge it with the Alolan Raichus as it outsped into electric terrain. Yeah, and honestly, Torn was there to help with defensively against some of these mons. And yeah, that's basically it. That was really it. And we had Silvally Fairy to deal with Gardevoir. Cause the rest of my team was really good for this match, except for I guess I couldn't really find the last spot, and we decided to go with Silvally Fairy. Oh, by the way, I want to shout out to Brett or Anderson, um, Crispy Panda, TCP, Crypto and Jay. This season they helped me prep. They helped me prep a lot. Mostly Anderson slash Brett. He really helped me each week. After I finished the prep, I would send out my team to Crypto and Jay, and TCP helped me with the last playoffs match. Yeah, so and they would look at it and they're like, "Oh, that's yeah." So we came up with some cool sets, and I really want to thank him this season because I don't know if I could have thought of some of these sets without him this season. So we decided to go with Silvally Fairy because he pointed out to me that Gardevoir just runs through my team if I don't have a way to beat it, and Silvally Fairy is my way to beat it. So that's that. Next, I have week 7, and what's funny is I actually played my week 7 before week 6. Scheduling error, scheduling stuff. Honor and I just couldn't get time in that week 6 to play at the same time, so we went with week 7, and I went with week 7 first. Played Kurt, and we lost. So we came away with our second loss of the season, I believe, right here. I believe so. We lost to Jay and we lost to Kurt. So Kurt, literally, I I think I had that game if I actually prepped for Keldeo. I did not think he was going to bring Keldeo because Dhelmise, I thought walled it, but it doesn't. As shown in this game, as Keldeo was able to beat that thing and was able to pretty much destroy my team, as I didn't have a way to beat it, and Savali was offensive ice type, and it just couldn't pull it out. If the Keldeo was gone, I could have pulled out the W at the end, but it wasn't, and sadly we couldn't beat it. Um, yeah, I did not. We just his team was really good against mine. To be honest, Scarf Chomp was pretty obvious, but I didn't really have a way to deal with it. And this was, I believe, the week I decided to drop. Was it this week? Well, Coolfish again didn't put in much work. Added to another ground weakness as my team was really Delmas was really pressured this match, and I wish it wasn't, sadly, but oh well. Can't really do much about it now. But yeah, Delmise was way too pressured this match, and I felt like I needed a team that functioned better without it. A team that I needed to build more safety precautions for Delmise. Maybe again, like maybe one of my moms got Healing Wish, maybe to get that, get the Umbreon for Wish support, something just help it out. Because honestly, yeah, Delmise was struggling because it literally was my switch-in for Garchomp, Garchomp, Keldeo, and Steelix, and you know, getting pressure by all those mons with Delmise, just sad. It just kind of like didn't work out. So going to week 8, have 2 losses on my belt, but we are still looking really good. And sadly, Tsunami had to drop, but Jimmy replaced him, and we've always had crazy games against Jimmy, coming really close. And this we came out with a 2-0. He was a very defensive Yveltal, and we went with physical of Coco this week, as well as first time running Flame Charge Entei, which actually took out his Seismitoad with HP Grass and took out his Tangrowth Sacred Fire. Wait, no, I think he took out Flame Charge as well, but oh well. And if I ran Stone Edge, I would have taken out the Kieran Black probably too. So Entei was actually so good for this match. And his prep was really good. It was just a lot of bulky. His team was bulk with Wish passing. It was so annoying to get through. Um, I had to get rid of those rocks as Wish passing was making things worse for me. So we did call out a W, riding in the end with Mega Metagross Coco, taking out the Yveltal at the end, as well as the Mega Alakazam. So next week 9, these were the transactions I believe took place, or they were either available for week 8 or they were available for week 9, I believe, with the Quillfish, Delmise being dropped, and Roserade, Jellicent being available. And would you look at that? We lost 3-0, but it was a completely different story from the score. I felt like I was about to sweep. I thought I had the game in my hands, and he pulls out because I had a nasty pot up with the Lower Raichu with like 7 turns of Electric Terrain or 6 turns left. He had 5 Mons, 4 Mons. Um, Kyogre had a Wakandberry. Or no, I think it was 4 Mons. Kyogre had a Wakandberry, stopped my sweep, and that was it. There was not much else to say. He had a pretty good prep for it, and he way over prepped for it, to be honest. But it was really a good reason why was Alone Raichu with Nasty Pot literally ran through his entire team that he brought. There wasn't a single mon that I didn't run through, so he did pull out the W, and I still haven't beaten Sketch yet, so that's unfortunate. Week 10 comes along. Um, yeah, you see 4 kills and 2 kills. Um, not much to say. Torn just broke his team, taking out the Jirachi and then nuking Palkia, which, by the way, um, if people thought that crit mattered, it didn't really. It was still a really good roll in my favor to kill Palkia with a Z Hurricane anyway. So, because he only had 16 HP and the rest of it, he had no defenses or spit Fs. EVs, so that crit didn't really matter. And Mega Metagross, the attack boost didn't matter, as the fact that it did sweep even without the attack boost against the rest of his team at where it was at that moment. Um, Mega Metagross, he didn't have a switch into it at all. The only way he could have had a way to deal with it is if he brought Mandibuzz, which he didn't. So literally, Mega Metagross put in the work as it's shown. Um, and really, it was insane. And Palkia was possibly the only thing that wasn't getting two shot by, like, wasn't possibly not getting two shot. I wasn't sure about that, but yeah. So Mega Metagross just, once that thing's gone, Mega Metagross just sweeps. That's kind of what happened. Once the Palkia went down, Mega Metagross came in and just swept, and we only lost Jellicent as I sacked it off to watch it. I wanted it to not get Rapid Spin. I did not want Kamala to go for a Rapid Spin against my team. Specifically because I wanted Rock Step to break any sashes so Mega Metagross could sweep, especially against Sneasel with the Bull Punch. So, week 11 comes around, and I brought a couple weird mons. Didn't bring Coco, didn't bring Mega Metagross, didn't bring Torty. Didn't bring those three mons because I felt like if I ended up playing Coach, because what was happening was Coach and Honor were fighting for the last playoff spot, and whoever made it in had to play me. And I didn't want to bring those three mons because I knew those are the three mons I'd definitely put on the team. And I want to try out some of my other mons as well. But I still wanted to put up a competitive fight, as I did bring a lot of good sets as well for this week. Too bad that he didn't bring the mons I thought I would, and I wasn't able to break Scyther, which ended up with my downfall, as he did end up beating me with Scyther. So that's unfortunate, but it was a good game, and sadly, Oak still couldn't make the playoffs, as it was decided by this one match, and Honor made it in. And as we go into the playoffs, I think this was mine. I didn't fill in the other one, I think. Yeah, I didn't fill in the other one. Okay. New York Muse we had against Honor. Knew he would bring the Sylvester Regirock. Kind of had a feeling he would bring Serena as well. Did not think he would bring Araquanid, but it was a very close game. We were able to chip things down enough so I could just bring in Alolan Raichu at the end, click Psyshock, and just win the game. With the last 2 months being Naganadale and Lunala. He brought Scarf Lunala, which was a great bring on his part. I completely got thrown off by that. Yeah, there's not much else to really say. Yeah, it was a pretty crazy game. And last game was against Sketch, and sadly, we did not pull out the W. There was a couple hacks involved, but we definitely would have played different if those hacks didn't have happened. We'd have played a lot differently. So I don't know exactly how much that mattered. Well, it did matter, but like hypothetically, there could have been a situation where we played differently because of it. So we don't really know. We can't really hypothetically. We can't think about what would happen if that hacks didn't happen. Like, there was, you could come up with a bunch of ideas, but they're probably, a lot of them are not going to be true because of all the possible switching and mind games this game has against us. As well as other hacks that could have possibly came, as I did get frozen as well that game. So but yeah, man, to get the roll with Mega Metagross, I think I would have won there. But oh well, it's unfortunate. Or if I brought the better prep and I brought Earthquake instead of Zen Headbutt or instead of Thunder Punch, I would have won the game as well. So I mean, it's not really Hack's fault as well. It's team prepping. I messed up with it. I thought Zen Headbutt would be good enough, but it wasn't. So sadly, it didn't work out. Yeah. Next. I know this video has been going on for a while now. Yeah, pretty long, and I'm gonna just tell you what I'm thinking of, what I'm going to franchise for next season. And to most people's surprise, it's not Coco. It's not Torrent either. Can't franchise Mega Metagross. It's not Umbreon or any of those. I decided to franchise Savali for UPC Season 4. There's many reasons why with all these new clauses that are going to come into effect, as I'll talk about it next season, um, as well as the fact that it gets hazard removal, it gets parting shot. It's just such a good utility mod, and I really enjoyed it. And I feel like it could fit on any team. So I felt like that was really good for the just in case I didn't want go with the team I wanted exactly as I can get sniped. So you know, um, felt like that was a really good choice. And I'll see you next season, UPC season 4. I believe that we're gonna start drafting mid June ish, depending. Um, until then, Bash out.